Jai Mohanji and Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us for the Kickass Growth series. This is a program that aims to bring people of different cultures, traditions, and religions together on one platform where all are able to share their journey with their spiritual master, which means a guru, and how their faith as well as surrender has allowed grace to flow into their lives. This is but a touch of love and grace spread through all of these programs and many others, which focuses on oneness and similarities rather than how we all are different. So let's see how we can all learn from each other. Do enjoy.
Jai Mohanji. So when Keegan asked me to speak today, I didn't really know what to say because every day is a miracle after Mohanji finding me. It's not the other way around, right? Um, there's so many things that I could speak about, but I decided to relay how every day is a miracle, like I said. Even those days when I'm in the washing machine and going through some upheaval in life, I just remember Mohanji and everything seems to smooth over. So I came to know about Mohanji towards the end of 2014. Before that, I was just going along in life. You just go along with whatever happens. And my parents at the time were following Shiv Yoga, and they still are today. So I attended two Shivirs, that's like the equivalent of our retreats, one in 2013 and one in 2014. So the 2014 Shavir was with Abdul Baba Shivananji. And during the healing, um, on the stage next to Babaji, I saw an old man with a white beard sitting on a throne. And this didn't really strike a chord with me because, the face wasn't familiar. So later, like a few months later, I realized that it was Shirdi Sai Baba. And after that Shavir, whenever I thought about Abdul Baba Shivananji, I couldn't feel any connection to him. It was just like there was just a blank. I kept wondering what I did wrong for Babaji to disappear. And then about 3 months later, I learned about Mohanji. So that was in December of 2014. And in December, Swami had a Homa at the ashram, which I was lucky enough to attend. The Homa was in honor of Tata Jayanti, which I think was probably a day or two earlier. But the Homa was held on a Saturday. So after that Homa, it didn't occur to me that I should research or anything properly about Mohanji. I was just going along with whatever was happening at home, and life just takes over. Nor did I think about doing the power of purity, which was I think there were only two meditations at that time: power of purity and the 360 degree. So it was a good while later, maybe a few weeks later, that I did the power of purity. So between that time of the Homa at the ashram and the first time that I did pop, I had a dream. So I don't dream very often. And when I do, I remember like tiny fragments of the dream, or something happens a bit later on that reminds me of that dream. So in the dream, there was a Homa happening, and it was like, it seemed like it was outside. There was a lot of trees. It looked like it was in nature with myself and some other very muscular man. He was holding my hands on either side of the fire. And usually I wouldn't I wouldn't keep my hands like near fire or very close to the fire because I'm scared that I could get burnt or something like that. But during the dream, I wasn't afraid of anything. I could hear the voice reciting the mantra so clearly. And later, when I did the pop, I remembered the dream. So that was like a few weeks later that I remembered this dream and realized it was Mohanji's voice in the dream. So like I said at the beginning, every day is a miracle. if you're open to experiencing life as a miracle. And the retreat with Mohanji at Calderwood was packed full of Baba's leelas, where basically around every corner we got to experience some type of miracle. So I just want to read the blog that I wrote after the retreat. So in 2018, we had a retreat at Calderwood Hall in the Midlands. And the venue for the retreat was actually the venue where I first met Mohanji in 2015. So that 2018 retreat was extra special for me. I planned to drive to my parents' home and stay there for a few days, then make my way to the retreat as required. And my parents live about 3 hours away from the retreat venue. So since I tend to overthink and stress about travel plans, this seemed like a good idea, as it would also give me some time to rest after driving for over 600 kilometers from Johannesburg. The morning to depart arrived quickly, and as luck would have it, I overslept. Nevertheless, I was well rested, so I packed my luggage and all that I would need into the car, and off we went. That's myself and my trusty co-pilot, who answers to the name of Kayla. So Kayla is my little scrappy doggy. She's a Boston Terrier. She's a true loving soul, and this weird and wacky travel mate manages her traveling by dry fasting. No food, not even a sip of water, from the time she wakes up in the morning until we arrive at our destination. During long journeys, I usually experience migraines and body aches, but not this time. The drive was smooth and serene. Even Kayla was well behaved at the toll gates, no aggressive barking or getting ready to pounce when I paid the cashiers. I realized that I had not felt the long distance because the drive seemed effortless, as if I had just been a passenger throughout the journey. After sharing this experience at the retreat, Jim mentioned that he did not feel stressed like he usually does when he's being chauffeured. So Jim was my travel buddy. I picked him up at the airport in Durban, and we traveled to the retreat together. So just an aside, Kriya initiation was scheduled for the day before the retreat at the ashram in Durban. I planned to attend this initiation and was looking forward to it. I woke up early and was ready to leave ahead of the anticipated time. The invitation was sent out 3 weeks prior with a scheduled start time of 10 a.m. I knew that the drive to the ashram from my parents' home would take about an hour and a half, so I planned to leave at about 7:30, and I was ready to go at 7:30. But then I decided to check my WhatsApp messages. The first message I saw was from Swami on the group chat, and that was sent at about 10 to 7. And Swami apologized for having to start the Kriya session early for some reason, and it was now going to start an hour and a half earlier, and we were asked to be at the ashram by 8. So my first thought was that it would be absolutely impossible for me to reach the ashram by 8, and that I should stay home and practice Kriya while the initiation was happening. My parents had left to go into their spiritual activities, which was like a 2-hour drive away. So I had the house to myself, and since Kayla was also hanging out inside, I decided to go sit in the prayer room. We went outside for a bit, and I noticed that the weather looked gloomy with dark grey clouds. I silently thanked Babaji for his benevolence and protection, then went back indoors. I hadn't practiced Kriya in a while, but on that day, my practice went smooth and very quick. After Kriya, Kayla and I spent some time together, but then I started feeling extremely tired and thought that a nap is in order. So Kayla usually doesn't allow me to nap or even sit on my bed during the day, but she was really calm and relaxed. She jumped into her bed and curled up for a nap as well. I fell asleep quickly and easily. The nap turned into a deep sleep which lasted 2 hours, and I recall waking up from this very deep sleep and instantly remembered the dream I had. I was on a cruise ship which was sailing through an incredibly violent storm. I also remembered the person sitting with me and watching the storm was an acquaintance whom I had not been in contact with since finishing high school many, many years ago. So while recollecting this dream, recollecting this dream, I thought of the pictures that I saw on social media a few days earlier. It was of Baba doing shark cage diving. I thought how exciting it must have been for those who were with Baba, including the sharks, to be in the ocean with him. I have an immense, inexplicable fear of the sheer force of the ocean for as long as I can remember. But looking at those pictures and thinking about that dream, it did not invoke any fear or anxiety. At the retreat, Baba said that in the dream state, we experience things not within the waking mind. Deep sleep is a death state, so that's no mind, and that the dream state is also a state to fulfill karma. So back to reaching the retreat venue. I reached the retreat venue at about 1:30 in the afternoon. And after checking in, there was not much time to rest, and at this time I could feel my mind racing. I focused on offloading my luggage at the room and went to meet my fellow retreatants. We learned that satsang was at 3. Excitement was building, and I could not wait to see Baba. The intro satsang was serendipitous, as Baba explained that what it meant to be anchored in love. Stable through any situation, living with integrity while being a consistent expression of love. I have had inner battles for many months where I questioned my responses and reactions to various situations to determine whether I am, in fact, being an expression of love or not. Although the satsang was so short, it cleared many doubts that I previously had. At the beginning of the retreat, Swami had mentioned that he asked Baba to reduce the intensity. I felt an unnecessary disappointment, like a child not being able to go to a favorite outing. I was eager to calm the monkey mind. By the morning of the second day of the retreat, the regular monkey mind was now spinning out of control. It was a complete circus with the most random and repetitive thoughts. One thought that fortunately did not bother me was about the dream I had the night before. While falling off to sleep, I had felt and saw, as I was watching a scene in a movie, a hand lightly punch my back on the area between the throat and the heart. Immediately after this, I remember having a feeling as if I was falling from a height. I turned onto my side and fell off to sleep again. It was not the best sleep considering the full day we had had, yet my body had rested. During the morning satsang on the second day, I lost concentration while Baba was speaking. It happened for a split second. In his booming voice, Baba called my name and said, "Loshini, where is your mind?" At that moment, my mind was blank. I felt something being drawn out of my chest center. Later, Baba explained that thought travels extremely fast. In a few seconds, one could be thinking of America, he said. He had caught the thought and stopped my mind from wandering before I was aware of it wandering. So something that Baba said during the satsang, when the mind is scattered, you are not a unit. Then there is no freedom. You will be bound to all those thoughts. How to become a unit? Be here now. Baba also asked what freedom means to me. I realized that he made me speak that day, as I usually do not speak in front of a lot of people. Impromptu speaking in public is not easy for me, but by the end of the retreat, I was able to share my experience with everyone at the front near the stage and with a microphone, as if it was the easiest thing to do. There was no anxiety or fumbling for words. Baba emphasized that we are nature and explained how nature has the ability to heal itself. We do not connect to the frequency of nature, hence we do not have the natural ability to heal ourselves. After conscious walking in the beautiful surrounds of Calderwood Hall, Baba graciously guided us to connect to the earth. In the beginning, my senses were being bombarded by all kinds of sensations. I could feel every blade of grass poking me where I sat. I heard every insect, birdsong, the hardy-dars, known for its distinctively loud calls in flight or squawking, ducks splashing, water lapping, and even the sounds of vehicles traveling on the road a few hundred meters away. Once Baba asked us to place our palms down and feel earth, I could feel the energy circulating within me. Nothing else mattered. A day earlier, the group did conscious walking and power purity meditation near the lake. Here I experienced headache, fatigue, and a general feeling of heaviness being relieved. There were so many leaders experienced at the retreat, which confirmed Baba's teachings as well as his state of being as an Avadhuta. We spent our days at the retreat in beautiful surroundings and calm sunny weather. However, one afternoon as we stepped out for conscious walk, heavy dark clouds hung above the guest house grounds. A few people insisted on going for the conscious walk. Baba looked up and said, "Let's go." The dark clouds mysteriously cleared enough for us to complete the walk, and it rained just as we went indoors. Throughout the walk, those hardy-dars squawked and circled above Baba. While speaking about nature's healing ability and everything being connected, Baba told us that the hardy-dars were keeping the indigenous spirits away from us. Bees were building a hive near the room that Baba had occupied. Swami said that these bees were working to protect all of the retreat participants who were occupying the rooms nearby. When Baba was leaving the venue, I pointed out that the beehive was white with a strange powdery substance near it. We have a picture on the actual blog post, which doesn't really do justice to the real live hive as it was clicked from my phone. It was a pure white oval shape with the honeycomb structures clearly visible from ground level. Warren asked Baba if it's vibhuti, to which Baba casually replied while looking up at it, "It's possible." Sadly, as the retreat drew to a close, we noticed that many of the bees were dead on the walkway below the hive. So how incredibly blessed we were to have them protecting us. You guys can have a look at the blog to see the actual picture of it. So just as Baba was concluding the program on the Thursday evening, a storm occurred with heavy rain, lightning, and thunder. To me, it felt as if the intense weather was a validation of all the inner cleansing and healing that took place during the week. The drive back to the airport from the retreat had to exclude doership entirely. I was so worried about the Friday traffic from Pietermaritzburg, roadworks in the area, and my travel mates' relaxed approach to departing the venue. I knew that the trip from the airport on Monday took 2 hours, and Naz had a flight to catch at 5, and it was already 2. Usually my mind and heart would be racing, but I calmly went to look for Jim and Naz, and we left the venue at just after 2. So one of Baba's quotes during the satsang was, "Being driven by purpose, all personality complexes go away." We made it to the airport just in time, maybe even with a few minutes to spare. All I can say is that I never drove the way I did that day with passengers in the car, yet no anxiety was experienced. As Baba said, "When you think of me, I work inside you." After the retreat, Baba went to Cape Town. A few people made plans months in advance to join him in Cape Town. I declined due to a course I was meant to attend the week after the retreat. I woke up early, got ready, and left for the course venue. While getting ready, I could not help but shake the feeling that I should stay at home. But I put this out of my mind and I prepared to leave. The venue is about 17 kilometers away and was scheduled to start at 8:15. Knowing Joburg traffic, I left home at 20 to 7. It took an hour to navigate through the stream of cars and taxis, and eventually I arrived at the venue. Anyone who knows Joburg will know how much fun taxis are during peak traffic hour. Traffic taxi drivers disregard the rules of the road, which in the past would prompt reactions of irritation and swearing from my part. But not this time, though. I went with the flow of the traffic as well. As I stepped into the venue, the facilitator greeted me and asked me if I was there for the course by terra firma. Since I didn't attend the day before, I told him which course I booked and showed him the email confirming the logistics. He decided to assist by calling the coordinator to find out if there were any changes. It turns out the course was cancelled and the coordinator omitted to communicate the changes to me. While speaking to the coordinator over the phone, I only experienced a cool feeling of acceptance and responded in a congenial manner, inside and out. One of Baba's quotes that he mentioned is, "Acceptance leads to surrender." The drive back to my home went against traffic, so I reached in 20 minutes. While driving, I thought, okay, Baba, what should I do today? Instantly, I thought of the experience sharing write-up that was planned to be typed out during the weekend. I scheduled it for the weekend as I anticipated homework from my course, since there's an exam. Because I had never written about my experiences, it always seemed like a difficult task to express in words. I switched on my laptop, read through my notes from the retreat, and began typing. After what I believed to be a final draft was complete, I clicked send on my email and my laptop went off. I noticed that the battery needed charging but ignored it and was too engrossed in typing to bother with fetching the charger and plugging it in. The warning icon was still green when the laptop went off. Generally, there would be some time from the green icon stage until it goes to amber or red before switching off. For some reason, I felt tired, which was odd, and decided to nap. Yep, the nap happened again. All the sleep after not being able to sleep properly during that year. On average, I was sleeping lightly for about 3 hours at night. In June, I could not manage to sleep and consulted a doctor who prescribed sleeping pills as well as anxiety medication. The sleeping pills worked for 3 nights. After that, the rest of the medication went into the garbage. I fell into a deep sleep soon after getting into bed. I dreamed that I was staying at a huge house together with Father, Devi, and a few other people. It seemed like an idyllic, beautiful place where we spent time just relaxing and practicing a strange yoga-like posture. The challenge was to keep on one's toes while practicing. A feat not easily achieved. In this dream, I got to spend time with someone very dear to me, although we went our separate ways 13 years ago. My heart expanded with love for this dear one, and I was filled with joy for the opportunity to enjoy their presence again. Toward the end of the dream, while I was explaining how best to do the yoga pose, Baba joined the conversation. I was raising my heels off the ground to stand on tiptoe while reaching my arms up as high as possible. Baba smiled and said, "You will reach very high if you consider like that." I was then awoken by Kayla running into the room and showing, that's her way of asking, her cute comical way, that I must dish up her dinner. It was already 5:30 in the afternoon and I had been asleep for 3 hours. Thank you for listening.